What is happening, everyone? This is Jim from JCRC, burning the midnight oil. It is Saturday, September 9th, about 2 o'clock in the morning, working on Project WLtoys here, or Project Paddle Boat. I've got some tires mounted up here, gluing the face of the tires currently. I put some 8mm extensions on here, on all the hubs, just to get the tires a little bit further out. And also put them on the back too. Took the battery out of it, and the battery is currently plastic dipping. One thick coat. I smeared the plastic dip on with a knife around the terminals and around the leads and all that stuff first, and then I dunked the whole battery inside the plastic dip. So that is currently hanging and drying. I'm about to take the body off this guy and start working out some areas for styrofoam and seeing how much room I have underneath the cage and between the body and all that good stuff. And I'm also probably going to smear some plastic dip. I'm going to take the cage off and probably put some plastic dip over top of all this stuff here, just to try to seal it up as best I can. I really don't know how much water is going to be getting in there. I'm more worried about the servo than anything else. But we'll find out. So right at the moment, I'm going to finish taking this cage off so I can get access to the speed controller / receiver and get that prepped for some plastic dip. And we are back. So off camera, I removed the 5 screws from off the top of the roof. One screw right here for the battery tray, and another screw up here for the battery tray. The 2 screws from up here, and the 4 screws from the bottom. And I'm just going to flip it forward like a convertible. Sorta, kinda. There we go. Try to get high in here and see what I'm looking at. That shift servo is really messed up in here. What's going on with that? Alright, well I have to look and see how much room I have for foam between the suspension and the body. Looks like about 1 inch maybe at the most. Not much movement on the shocks as far as anything really getting in the way. I think as long as I can get the foam in here and get it to lay right across these cantilever screws, I think I might be alright. Maybe just dig out a little spot for a little bit of clearance on those guys. So I can just put a big block of foam in right here. Probably another little small block in between this side and the receiver / speed controller. Probably gonna get some square blocks or some round tubing and put it around these lower trailing arms as well as around the back axle. Part of that little mini boogie board that I bought, a little paddle board, I'm just gonna cut in a piece to fit back in here, which is gonna be somewhat tucked in. It's going to limit the suspension travel, but I think I can get a inch thick piece of foam stuck in between here and here. I did take this thing with all its tires on it, and I've got that little boogie board that I showed earlier. this little small styrofoam board. Yeah, not that big. Bought it from my local CVS pharmacy. Nevertheless, I put the whole truck on it, tires and all, and floated it inside a utility sink. And it was floating right on top of that one piece of foam. So that's kind of a good sign that it's light enough to do that. So hopefully if I get some stuff in here and a little bit, make a custom front bumper on it so it's not, so I can hydroplane a little bit, or so the bow or the front of the truck can, you know, get up into the waves and not take on water. I think I'll be all right. So a little quick pause here, and we'll see how much headway I can get between the next unpause. Have to excuse me. Like I said, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning at this point in time. And I am back, and you know, I pulled the speed controller out of it / receiver, and I really started looking at it. I don't know if you can see it on the camera here. I don't know if this is going to focus on it or not. Okay. Right along in this area, the double-sided tape appeared to be glued down on the back. It's like some kind of a coating on it. And then inside there, I was looking in between all the wires and whatnot, and the board, you're probably not going to be able to see it, but the board has some kind of coating on it as well. So this might be somewhat waterproof to begin with. So I might not have to plastic dip this thing. From what I can see, it looks like it has some kind of coating all across the top of the circuit board. Here's what I'm talking about. On the double-sided tape, you can see the little bit of film hanging here where it looked like it was glued down. Alright, so I'm just going to reattach this guy back in here, I think. You know, I might take this shift servo out of here. I don't know if you guys can see it, if the camera's focusing in on the shift servo. But I might just take this shift servo right out of the loop and possibly lock this into low gear, because I usually rarely use high gear. So if I take the shift servo out of the loop, that'll give me just a little bit more room for some of that styrofoam. Decisions. Yeah, give me a minute on that. Alright, so here's where we are at right now. I took the shift servo out, put the servo mounts back on it, put the servo arm and horn back on it, and whatever else. That way it's all in one piece and just sitting off to the side. Still need to put the receiver / speed controller back in there. As far as the truck goes, here's a little shift arm to shift it from high to low. It's currently in low range. The Vatera twin hammers came with this little spacer right here that goes inside the transmission to lock it into low range. Since I'm not going to take the transmission apart, I'm going to take this little arm off the end and try to place it on this rod right here in between the servo horn attachment and the transmission to try to lock it in the low range. So give me a minute to take this part apart and see if I can get this here micro metal sleeve down onto yonder shift shaft. So one moment. Alright, and we are back again for the shift servo. I ended up using a small little piece of rubber hose that fit on there perfectly, and then as I tightened it down, it kind of snugged it up so it's holding it back here in low range. Little piece of hose like this. Not very big. I don't know, less than a ½ inch, more than a quarter of an inch. So that's where we're sitting at right at the moment, and give me a couple of minutes here. I was going to mount the speed controller and receiver back into the truck down here, but now I'm thinking I might lay a piece of foam in here and then maybe mount the receiver on top of that to bring it up higher into the air. And since I took the shift servo off right here, that has now opened up a nice big gap underneath where I can lay in some foam all underneath here, which you're probably not getting a good angle on, but I mean, this truck's pretty light, so with these gigantic tires on there, it might float just with these tires. So I don't know how much of the foam I'm actually really going to need. Worst comes to worst, there's tons of ground clearance on here. I could literally rest this thing on a piece of foam. Just, you know, have a little boogie board laying right underneath it, and it would work just fine just like that too. So it'd look like hell, but it would work. So a couple more minutes here. Let me see what I can do as far as foam layout inside here, and we'll be back here in a couple seconds. And we are back, and I just gutted out the life vest here. Pretty self-explanatory. I might have to use the straps off it to hold foam in place. I'm not too sure, but a bunch of straps on here. This is all they had in the back. 3 layers of this foam. And here's what they had on the sides, on the front. One of these on each side, 4 layers of foam, or 5 layers. So, let's see what we can do with this. And we are back. It's been about 15 minutes or so. Maybe more than 15 minutes. Here's what we're looking at so far. Sorry about this. I have the camera sitting on a tripod, so and there's kind of what we're looking like on the inside. Little cutout for the battery. So far there is 2 layers of foam in here from the life vest. And when it's all scrunched down on here, let me get it positioned here right. Alright, so here is what we are looking at so far, or looking like so far. This is pretty tight in here as far as the foam and whatnot and space goes. I can fold these inside, which I'm probably gonna have to do here. Let's make sure our suspension still works. Body isn't clamped down just yet, but I have it bolted down at the top. These top 2 screws right here I have put in. I still want to add some more foam around on the inside. But this is a good start. Good start here. A couple more minutes with the pause button again. And we are making progress here. There's a layer of foam kind of cut and placed in here. Velcro from the battery tray is going to hold that in place, as well as it being wedged in between the roll cage up here at the top. Little doghouse for the battery there. I'm still going to put in one more layer of foam, just like this one, in under here. And so there's probably a little bit more fine trim work to do here. And I still need to add some more foam up on the inside. So a couple more minutes here. It is currently 4:22 in the morning, 4:22 Saturday morning. One more minute. Well, boys and girls, we are definitely getting a lot closer to something here. I cut some little slits out on this little top edge to fit it in between the roll cage so it kind of holds it in place. And with the body lift that I put on there should be enough room. I'm hoping there's enough room to get the body on over top of this. And yes, the suspension still works. And I still need to put some more foam on the inside, and I haven't put that extra layer on the back yet, so one more minute. And a quick look with the body on it. Yeah, that's a tight fit, but she's gonna happen. A little bit closer. Need to slap that speed controller in there, put a couple more layers of foam on the inside. One more little quick layer on the back here. Maybe some kind of tubing around the axle, not too sure yet. Paint all this stuff black so it's kind of concealed. And we'll check back here in a couple seconds. And I haven't even progressed, man. I just had to stop and say, man, I am so stoked. This is gonna be sweet. I'm gonna have this thing built before these tires dry. Before the glue on these tires dries. I still have to glue the back half. But this is coming along really, really quick. And I mean, really, man, it's not too shabby. Paint all that white stuff black. The suspension all still functions because the foam moves. And this thing is so light, and those tires are so huge, with no foams in them and light wheels. And I'm gonna put some foam inside the wheels too. I think this is gonna happen, man. Project paddle truck. Or paddle boat. I don't know. We'll see. And we are getting farther. Another layer of foam in there. Kind of notched out the corners, and that way it could fit up in between the plastic here. Another notched out corner. Notched out the back so it kind of locks in this back edge. Still need to add some on the inside. Still need to put the receiver back in it and figure out something with her legs. So a couple more minutes. It just keeps getting nuttier as the night goes on here. Man, almost there. Still gotta put the speed controller back in it, and a couple more pieces of foam on the inside. But this baby's gonna float. Well, holy mackerel! Talk about burning the midnight oil. Like I said, man, it is late. What time is it? 8:47. 8:47 in the morning on Saturday morning. Worked Friday night right into Saturday morning. And this is what we're looking at right now currently. I painted all that white foam black with my trusty Tester's paint marker. Once again, not being sponsored by anybody. I've had this marker since, man, I don't even know, since like '03. I can't believe it still has paint in it. Here's what we're looking at on the front end. Underside. Yes, that is a sheet of foam. And I used some tire glue and glued it to the bottom of the chassis. Couple layers of foam up under here and a little bit of pipe wrap on the rear axle. Some pipe wrap and zip ties. I don't have the roof on it just yet. I still need to put the battery in there, so I'm kind of leaving the roof off for that. And I'm still waiting on my tires to dry up here. So we're done, but we're not done yet. The next video of this guy will probably be in the water. It's getting hard for me to talk. Got this tire glue here in front of me and trying to glue all that shit up. Oh, excuse me. Glue all that stuff up. Yeah. Been up since I don't know, 8 o'clock in the morning on Friday, so it's definitely a long night here, so you have to excuse me for getting a little slap happy here. But this is what we're looking at so far. Almost there, almost done. And we are back, and man, time flies. It is 4:58, almost 5 o'clock, Saturday afternoon. Truck is all finished. Batteries installed, tires are installed, the foam's all there. If anybody's really wondering what some inspiration was, right there. Yep, that's why I keep showing this animal. That's why I've been having this animal in a lot of videos. You see it in the background. It's those claws on the tires. I really would have liked to put these tires on there, but they just won't mount up with the way everything engages with the claws, so that's what it is. And this is what we're looking at right here with this guy. Some monster paddles. And I'm at my 23-minute mark here, so who knows if it's going to float or not. I guess we'll find out. Actually, you guys will already know because you're going to see me running this video before you see this video once again. So sorry for the shaky camera here, and thanks for watching, everyone. We'll be back with another video here. It'll actually be the run video, but like I said before, you're going to see this video before, or you're going to see that video before this video. So thanks again, everyone.